This is going to be an 11-11 relationship reading. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. In the spirit of 11-11, I'm going to do a reading for twin flames, soulmates, deep soul connections, whatever label you want to use. 11-11 is typically associated with twin flames. And, you know, something that I don't always talk about in depth is that I am a twin flame, and I have been on this twin flame journey for quite a while. And I think having been through the process, I would describe myself as now being sort of on the other side, where you have the hindsight to know that the twin flame journey is about self-love and about learning boundaries. And if you know the cake analogy, you know this is where, for me, it all stems from. Those experiences, trying to get up the cake, trying to pull somebody up the cake, and having to surrender and let go, let God, let the universe take the wheel. So here's what I'm going to do today is do a twin flame, deep soul connection, relationship reading. If you have any questions about twin flames that you would like answered, put them in the comments. Or if you have a question about deep soul connections in general, you know, you might even wonder why I call them deep soul connections. And sometimes I don't use the label of twin flames. It's because the label doesn't necessarily matter. What matters is what's in your heart, what's in your soul. Only you can know whether you are on the twin flame journey or not. I never recommend paying anybody to confirm or deny that for you, but that is just me. So let's take a look at the overall messages for this relationship. Now, I'm using the 11-11 Oracle, which is so fitting. 11-11 is a spiritual gateway. It's brand new beginnings. It's about ascension, right? And of course, twin flames. So what do we have? Well, we have conscious service, spiritual counseling. There could be some idleness or some humanitarianism. So here's the thing. I believe that twin flames are of service. They are on a mission, okay, to come together for a higher purpose. Love is always the bonus or the byproduct of this connection. And I know right away we think it's all romantic and we romanticize it. But just understand that there is a greater purpose to the journey. And let's see, balancing act. Oh boy, I talk about this all the time. It's about balancing the masculine and feminine energies within us. It's not about gender. It's about an equal giving and receiving. Understanding that we are a society of overgivers, and part of the reason why we have these difficulties in relationships is because we are overgiving and we are chasing. Hence why we talk about this runner-chaser dynamic. You know, if you stop chasing, the person will stop running. And in theory, what are you running from? Because it's a mirror. So if your person is running, more than likely so are you. So these are all things that are related to twin flame connections. A lot of it is surrender, finding yourself, making boundaries. These type of connections come into your life at a time when you need it most. It's when you're in the process of ending a relationship, whether, you know, it's a long-term partnership, marriage. This can even be, unfortunately, when you lose someone, you know, a death of a loved one. It could be a near-death experience. There's so many things that can spark a twin flame or deep soul connection. You know, I really call it a spiritual reawakening because I believe we're born awakened. It's just life gets in the way. And then all of a sudden the universe comes and taps us on the shoulder and says, you think you want to keep doing that? I think you need to make some changes. You need to make some boundaries. You need to demonstrate some self-love and self-care. And, you know, my story is like many of yours. You know, I lost myself and I was overgiving to everybody. And I got to a point where I said, I do this, 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 and this for everybody else. And what about me? And if you've ever been in that situation, you know. And my life really changed when I was reawakened and I was sparked. And honestly, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. If you want to know about my story or you want to know more or ask questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer because I definitely understand how you feel. And let's see what else we need to know. Accept healing. You know, it's interesting. This came out in the 11-11 general reading that I did. You know, you're being healed. A full recovery is coming. This does say blocks or resistance, which is all part of the journey. And you have to believe in miracles. You really do. You know, that's what this is all about. It is, honestly, it's trusting the process. I cannot make that up. I really can't. It's always, it's always interesting. I'll put it to you that way. It's always interesting in this journey because there are ups and downs, ebbs and flow, tough times, but also some of the most rewarding times. And I just want to remind all of you that it is a gift. You are my gift right now listening to this. I would have never been in this position had I not been sparked by the twin flame journey. So I am forever grateful and thankful to the situation, to the person that I encountered. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look between you and your person, what's in your headspace, your person's headspace, your heart space, their heart space, overall energy and underlying energy. And of course, feel free to swap sides if it makes more sense. Now I'm using one of my favorite decks here, which is Tarot de la Nuit. And this deck is very scorpionic in my mind. It's just got this beautiful dark imagery, yet with such light. And some of my favorite colors, like the purples and the pinks and, really, really vibrant light. Yet the cards can be dark. So with light, there's dark. With dark, there's light. We're talking balance here. So let's see what's going on in the connection, okay? So let's take a look at your headspace during this 11-11 portal. We have the Page of Wands. Page of Wands is throwing caution to the wind, okay? It's a spark. It's really telling you to let go and surrender. You have no idea how important this is on the twin flame journey. Okay, deep soul connection. Like I said, whatever label you use. But I would just say to you that when you stop chasing, when you let go, when you live for yourself, everything starts to shift. And there's the Magician. You have all the tools. It's really up to you. How badly do you want it? Be very aware of what you think, feel, do, and say. And I mean, there's so many things that I could talk about in relation to the twin flame journey. Honestly, it's endless. I could literally go on and on for hours. Let me know in the comments what you'd like me to talk about, because I certainly can. But let me put it to you this way. In your wording and the energy that you put out, be very careful. Oftentimes in these connections, we say things like, they are the be-all, end-all. I have to have this person. This is it for me. And I understand how you feel because I've been there too. But I want to remind you of something. You want somebody who's at their best, somebody who can give, somebody who can lead, somebody who follows through, somebody who makes boundaries and isn't placating to family and other situations, right? So in other words, you want your person in their best form. You want your person or better. Don't limit yourself. And I know you might say, well, I don't want anyone else. It's not about anyone else. It's you want the best for you. I want the best for you. I want you to have the best of the best of the best and nothing less. So you have to recognize that when you are putting out your energy, your thoughts, your feelings, your words, and your action, okay, that energy is reflected back at you. And that's why twin flames mirror each other. Often we say if a person is emotionally unavailable, so is their person, and vice versa. More than likely, the things that your person is experiencing and going through are things that you're going through as well. If they're avoiding things, more than likely you may be too. Okay? So there are so many things to consider in these connections. Now, by the way, this doesn't mean that you can't be with your person. It requires a lot of work. It requires getting up the cake. If you know the cake analogy, I always say that. There are ways to achieve this, but in the purest intentions that you are number one. So in your person's headspace, there's the Three of Pentacles. And the Three of Pentacles is about collaboration and working together, okay? It is an upgrade to a current situation, which is lovely. And the Five of Cups, your person is dealing with a bit of sadness, disappointment, and grief. And there are a variety of reasons why that could be. Oftentimes in these connections, you are 10 steps ahead of your person and they don't feel worthy. And they will tell you they can't give. They will say nothing good can come of the situation. And often it's really out of your protection. We just don't see that. I was guilty of that myself, where I would say, but, I love you, but we can make it work, but it doesn't matter, and I think that that's just us trying to pull somebody up the cake. And so I would just say to you that let your person process. Let your person process. If they need to figure something out, let them. It's not your job to do it for them, and it's not their job to do it for you either. So let's take a look at, oh, there we go, your heart space. There's the Knight of Pentacles. I really cannot make this up. If you know me, you know. This is trust the process. Now imagine me, you know, playfully rolling my eyes as I'm filming this. You just can't see me at the moment. But, you know, I giggle because the story of how this came about for me was that after somebody saying to me, Kelly, I can't give, Kelly, nothing good can come of this situation. Kelly, you know, I've got to do this, and this. They walked out my door, okay? And in the moment, they turned over their shoulder and they said, trust the process. Now, if you've ever heard me tell the story, I say it as like, trust the process, Kelly. It's because in my mind, that's how I heard it. That's not how they said it. And I kicked myself because at the time, I didn't know to ask, what does that mean? Okay, let me tell you, I learned what that meant. I've learned it. If I haven't learned trust the process at this point, there's something wrong. And I'm not saying that in relation to any of you. I'm saying that in relation to my journey, because I do what I do because of the lessons that I've learned. I try to help you because of the lessons that I've learned. I'm trying to save you some of the heartache that I went through because I didn't have anybody to help me. Nobody. And so I would just say that trusting the process is the answer. It's the hardest thing you'll ever have to do, but it is worth it. It has brought me so many beautiful things. It has brought me all of you who support me and who listen to my readings and engage with me on my TikTok and Instagram lives. I appreciate you all so, so much. And again, the utmost of gratitude to this person, this situation. Without this person saying trust the process to me, I don't know where I would be. And it has really helped me grow and become a better version of myself. And we are lifelong learners. That's what this journey's about. It never ends. You know, we're always going onwards and upwards. We're ascending, hence 1111, spiritual ascension. So in your heart space, you really need to trust the process. And you may have a tower moment. And I get it. You've probably already had one and you're processing it. And the tower is helping you find your way up to ascend. Okay? So I want you to think about it like this. Good luck is bad luck and bad luck is good luck. Sometimes we get a tower moment and we think that is the worst luck ever, and it ends up being the best thing that ever happened to you. My tower moment was that my marriage, after many years of being genuinely successful, crumbled. Pretty much in a quick amount of time. And it led me to these new experiences of being sparked by a person, by a situation. I even had a house flood. I had a house flood with $100,000 damage while my marriage was falling apart and my life was changing. I was dealing with boundaries with my family, work, friends. Everything was just changing in my life. And I really hit a low. And I thought it was the worst thing ever. And yet it is the biggest blessing. It helped me change my entire life. And so I want to remind you that the tower is not starting at zero. It's starting with knowledge you didn't have before. So let's see. In your person's heart space, there's the Seven of Pentacles. And you can see that they're anxious. You know, there's like scratching of the skin. I don't know if anybody has lately been very itchy or like anxious or scratching their skin. You know, this is saying the seed is planted. It's not going to harvest overnight. In my mind, this is like another trust the process kind of card. And there's the Emperor. The Emperor is about making a power move. Your person needs to be in that Emperor energy. I want to remind you, the feminine energy, this is not about gender, the feminine energy leads. Oh, there's the honk outside if you heard it. Leads in the 3D, the feminine energy leads in the 3D, and oh my gosh, I can't talk because I got distracted by the honk outside. Pardon me. The feminine energy leads in the 5D, and the masculine energy leads in the 3D. Okay? Jeez, now I can't get my words out. But the Emperor is about making power moves, and if you want your person to make power moves, then you have to make the power moves spiritually, and that means the trusting the process. That means letting go, letting God, letting the universe take the wheel. Nothing that's meant for you is ever going to pass you by. It's going to sound so counterintuitive to let go, but that's what is necessary. And sometimes I get questions from people that say, well, Kelly, can I let go and detach so that the person comes back to me? And I know that in theory, that sounds right, but the intentions are not pure, and you can't fool the universe. If your intentions are for self-love, self-worth, self-value, self-respect, making boundaries, doing for you, taking a risk, then absolutely detach, because you never know what can happen. The most amazing things can happen. But if your intentions or motivations are to just bring somebody back in, then, you know, the universe is going to give you more tests and they're going to resist. And it's a tough one. Believe me when I tell you, I completely understand how you feel. So let's look at the overall energies between the two of you. And maybe I'll just move these cards down just a smidge. Here's the overall energy. The Page of Cups. Believe in miracles. Believe that anything is possible, because it is possible. Don't limit yourself. And here's the Ten of Cups. Exactly. You can have your ultimate wish fulfillment. But again, you have to be willing to surrender, and you have to be willing to take those risks. You know, I think one of the most, you know, asked questions ever is like, how do I surrender? How do I surrender? What does that mean? How do I stop the obsessive thinking? How do I spark new energy in my life? And that's why I love passion projects. And that's why I love doing new things, meeting new people, always continuing to put myself out there. You know, one of the things that was my secret throughout this process is that I never stopped dating. And I know people will say, yeah, but I don't want to date anybody else. I don't want anyone else. It's really not about finding someone else. It's about finding out what you like and what you don't like, and what you'll tolerate and not tolerate. I look at myself now, and there are things that like I just won't deal with. I will not listen to. I will not give umpteen chances for people who can't follow through. At a certain point, you know, you can only go to the bank so many times, as my father would say. And so, you know, as much as I like to be compassionate and caring and understanding, and I still am, but I also have a self-worth that says I'm not dealing with this bullshittery anymore. And you'll know when you reach that point. Everybody's on a different timeline. Just because I say this is where I'm at now doesn't mean that's where you're at or where other people are at. It's okay to be on your own timeline. You'll know when you're ready. But understand that putting yourself out there and meeting new people, it doesn't mean you have to marry these people. It doesn't mean you have to have anything super serious. It means you're getting experience to help you build your confidence and to know what you want and what you don't want. And if something comes along that's better, believe it or not, I know you may not have the perspective to see it now, it'll be meant for you. And you'll realize a totally different kind of love. And sometimes in these deep soul connections or twin flame connections, they're there to teach you these lessons so that you can have something better. And I have the mindset of, if it's in this lifetime, great. If it's not, that's okay too. I'll catch you in another life. And that to me is what unconditional love is. Twin flames are about unconditional love. It is not narcissism. It is not abuse. It is not toxicity. To me, those are karmic relationships. And by the way, as a side note, I'm not a fan of the term karmic. He's with his karmic, she's with her karmic. You know, karmic situations can be, yes, other people. They can be work, finances, family, cultural differences, religious differences. It doesn't have to just be a person. So I'm not a fan of using the term, oh, they're with their karmic, or I'm with my karmic. It's more like those are lessons that people need to go through in order to be their best selves. And if your person is in a karmic relationship with another person, or you are, they're meant to be there to help figure things out. And we can't try to control the outcome. This is the hard part. Underlying energy is the Nine of Cups. Ask and you shall receive. But you have to take away the attachment. This is the key. That's how you surrender. And look, Ace of Cups, filling your own cup. Okay? So let's see what else we need to know here. Let's get some oracle cards to clarify. And the Wine card, it's developing over time. This is a work in progress. This is not instant gratification. You know, I think a lot of us watch shows like Love is Blind or The Bachelor, and we just sort of go, wow, I met my person and I love them and this is it. You're my person, you know? And I think that we don't recognize it takes time. It takes getting to know each other, making the decision that we want to be in this relationship. It's not just a feeling, it's deciding. It's deciding that I want this and I'm going to do the work to make this cohesive and we're going to co-create something together. So there is something developing here in your headspace. And there's the Scorpio energy, you know, death and rebirth, total transformation. That's what this all is about. It's a total transformation for both of you. You're just 10 steps ahead of your person. And in your person's headspace, they're trying to get clarity. Let me just give you a side note here. I feel like I'm getting pretty deep into a lot of these topics, but understand that your person is in a position that you once were in. When you're 10 steps ahead of somebody, you can't get mad at them because they don't know any better. Now, I'm not excusing bad behavior, okay? Trust me, I don't tolerate any bullshittery. But I will put it to you this way. If somebody can't give, or they don't have the clarity, or they don't have the foresight that you already have, what can you do? You can't force them. You can sit there all day and tell them, we're twin flames, we're this, we're that, and try to convince them. It doesn't get them up the cake. They have to get themselves up the cake. So your person is trying to get some clarity. And this is an uncommon bond. And trust me, they know it. You don't have to tell them. They know it. What they do with that is up to them, though. Okay? And again, this is all about manifesting deepest desire. And this aligns with that Magician card that we saw on your side there. Now, in your heart space, there's the Beaver energy. Well, this is things working against you, but also things are working for you. It's just persistence pays off. Persistence, not in the sense of forcing anybody. Again, you can't pull them up the cake. This is not forcing anybody to be with you. And plus, you don't want to force anybody to be with you. Why? You want people on their own volition to choose this relationship. Giving them the freedom to do that will bring them closer to you. It's just really hard to see that in the moment. And, you know, I always say I was the queen of contriving. You know, I would send the text message. I would send the meme. I would send the article. I would accidentally, and now I say that in air quotes, I would accidentally send this message and be like, oops, that was for someone else who had a very similar name or spelling. You know, I didn't say those words, but that was my intention. And yes, it would spark a conversation or it would get another round going. And hey, do what you got to do. But understand that that's a short-term gain and a long-term pain. It's better to have the short-term pain, long-term gain. But it's all part of the process and you have to learn it as you go. I'm just giving you the tools or giving you the information. There's no judgment to it. I'm always going to support you. I'm always on your side. I've been in your position. But understand that you want new things and you've got to make your dreams real by taking steps to further your ascension first. That's why that Ace of Cups is so integral to you. And the grasshopper here is trusting and taking a leap of faith. You have to stop worrying. You have to move yourself on in whatever way helps your personal growth and evolution. So let's see. What else do you need to know? In your person's heart space, there is the Tower. See what I mean? You're mirroring each other. And again, your person needs that Tower moment, as did you, or do you. And there's the Raccoon. They have to problem solve it. Please understand that. That is their problem to solve, not yours. And I know we want to give, we want to overgive, and we want to make everything all right. And we want to say, I'm here for you. If you need me, I'm here for you. There's like a mixed energy with that. And let me explain very quickly. If you always tell them, I'm here for you, that means you're at arm's length and you're a crutch. And when they need that validation, they'll come to you for that. And I always use the analogy of like a phone battery. You're sitting here at 100% and they've got 2% battery. And when they need you, they'll come in, they'll charge their battery, drain yours. You'll have this elation for a while, this bubble phase for a while, and then they'll run because it gets too intense for them and they can't deal with the emotions. And then they take that energy that you've just given them to go deal with the situation that they're dealing with, that karmic situation, that other relationship or that trauma or that, you know, boundary that's necessary that they're not making. And I want to remind you that when they run, okay, they're running from themselves. Don't take it so personally. And I know that it's really hard for people because they say, why did they choose this other person over me when they are less than? And it's not really about better than or less than. I don't mean it to sound harsh that way, but oftentimes people will say, yeah, but they went to her, they went to him. Why did they go to this? And it's like, you have to understand that they run to something that is easier for them. Easier in the sense that they don't have to change. With you, they need to change. And maybe that other person or that other situation enables the behavior of them coming in and out. Now, to some extent, so do you. You allow them back every time they need to pump their tires or, you know, get their validation or charge up their battery. So it's a catch-22 here, you know. So let's take a look at the overall energy. See the diamond ring, proposal, engagement, next level, marriage and union. You know, statement of intent. It's very important to set intentions, to believe in those miracles, you know, of that page of cups that's underneath there. And the hummingbird, enjoying the present moment. You know, one of the best pieces of advice that I was given when I first got on the twin flame journey, you know, I had never had a reading before, and I always credit this wonderful lady for this. She said to me, Kelly, don't book the honeymoon suite. And at the time I was like, I don't have it booked. And she was like, well, you do. You know, it's like saying you've got the plaza booked, you've got the Four Seasons, and you got the caterer, you got the band, you've got the honeymoon set. You have everything set, but you haven't gone through the process yet. You haven't detached, you haven't surrendered, you haven't worked through your own traumas, triggers, and hurts. You haven't done your own healing. And, you know, nothing is impossible. Believe me when I tell you that you can achieve anything. But it requires taking the steps to do so. And sometimes we're going to take steps forward and sometimes we're going to take steps backwards. And that's part of it. There are ups and downs. There are people that I talk to weekly who definitely understand this concept, where there are weeks where you know you're feeling really high. And then there are some weeks where you're feeling really low because you feel left out in the cold, or you're not getting the level of communication that you're used to, or you're not getting the validation that you need. But you have to ask yourself, why do these things trigger you? And, like I said, I completely understand. So the hummingbird is basically telling you to enjoy the present moment. Take it step by step. Hard to do, but worthwhile. The underlying energy is a tornado, and that is a storm brewing, and that is something sudden or unexpected. And not only that, it doesn't have to be a bad thing, by the way. It's about clearing out old energy. You know, that's like clearing out that tower energy so you can have the new. And here's the Hermit. And the Hermit is about searching your soul. It's like really the Notebook. It's like, what do you want? And by the way, speaking of twin flames, I haven't talked about this in a while, but, you know, obviously there's a lot of like twin flame movies out there that we don't even realize are twin flames. You know, the Notebook is very twin flamey. I mean, just think of the characters. You know, you've got Lon, who's basically like the soulmate, you know, and then you've got the twin flame connection on the other end. Or when you think of, you know, The Great Gatsby, whenever I see the green light across the water, you know, to Daisy, Gatsby sees that green light. Well, that green light is the heart chakra. Turn your heart light on. You can see how that connection between Daisy and Tom is like a karmic relationship. And you can see the intensity between Daisy and Gatsby, and yet somehow they just can't get it to work. Or I think of Twilight, you know, I think of, you know, Jacob as the soulmate, you know, and Edward as the twin flame. And here's Bella in the middle. And she's like, gosh, I have feelings for both. And what do I do? Why do you think in the honeymoon scene, you know, it's so intense with Edward, you know, or why when they're intimate, they can't be intimate with each other because it's so magnetic that it repels or that it's dangerous. These are all things that are reminiscent of twin flames. So let's take a couple Power of Surrender cards just to see what we need to surrender or surrender to. I know I went into a lot of depth and talk. If there's things, like I said, that you want me to delve into or talk about, let's do it. I'm definitely open to. So let's see what we need to surrender or surrender to here. Surrender your need to always be right. Funny, I mentioned that earlier. Give others the gift of letting them be right. Be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationships. I understand that you know how you feel about your person. You know how you feel about the connection. But allow for what you want or better. Because what could be better, you don't know. And with that, we have surrender your fear of change. I can't make this up. The universe is reminding you that you are cared for always, whether you're afraid of a change in your job, your health, or relationship, or if you fear aging or death. Repeat the affirmation, I have faith that all is well. Everything's going to work out. Listen, that is trust the process. Trust the process, Kelly. Trust the process, everyone. You know, I say that with love. I really do. Nothing that's meant for you will ever pass you by. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. I really hope this resonates with you. I know this was a very deep reading with a lot of different concepts and things that are not always easy to hear, but just know that I am here for you, and I passionately do what I do because I want the best for you. Always. I'm always on your side. There's no judgment, and I support you no matter what. Even if you have a blip in the road or you reach out maybe when you feel like you shouldn't have, it's okay. It's all part of the process. There's no right or wrong. Okay, so again, I send you lots of love and an amazing 11/11. Thank you very much for listening to my reading, and I wish you an amazing day.